Hello Year 4, welcome to today's reading, or today I suppose more spelling activity. We're going to be having a look at some different types of words today, but it's all about adding an ly on the end. Now you should recognise this because these are types of adverbs. Now these are just three that I've just picked just to show you. So if we have a look at these words, you'll probably recognise or look at this face and say that this looks like an angry face, which I suppose it is. But also we could say he's staring, he's looking with his eyes angrily. He's angrily staring at you. With this middle picture, again, if you look at his eyes, he's kind of looking at you sleepily. He's not asleep, which is the root word. He's looking at you sleepily. Okay, adding this ly. And the last one, which might be a new word for many people, hastily. Hastily is when you're rushing off somewhere really, really quickly. So, for example, if you're late for school, you might be packing your bag hastily. Now, there was a video before this looking at different adjectives and adverbs and looking at some spelling rules. So we're going to have a look at a couple now. So, for example, if we go for a nice easy one with angry, when we change or transform this into an adverb, we keep kind of this first part, the root word. Remember, the root word, guys, is the beginning part or the original word itself, so angry. And when we change it to an adverb, we drop the y and we add angrily. So it looks like this. Another similar one, sleep. When we make this into an adverb, again, we use most of the part of the root word. Again, remember, that's the original word, and we add in illy. But as you saw in the video, there are some other words that had a slightly different rule. So, for example, if we take the word magic and write it here, magic, when we add or transform this into an adverb, on the end of that word, we would add ally like this, and the word would now be magically. So you can see with these words, there are a couple of little rules that take place to transform these adjectives into adverbs. Now, this is an activity you would do in school. I'm going to do this as a submit question, dots and dashes. Remember, our dots and dashes is for our letter sounds or best friends or chatty friends. So, for example, sleepy would be S-E-P, like this. So with this one, there are 5 sounds in that word. With sad, S-A-D or S-A-D, 3 sounds. With words like physical, we know that these two are best friends. It's, it, oh, and again count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember, with best or chatty friends, I'd like you to write it like this. So if we take this word here, I, s. So there are 3 sounds in there. So this is going to be a submit question for you to have a go at. Now, I put these words up here, and just get rid of the green bits. I put these words up here just to go through a couple to make sure we know what they mean. Because it's all well and good me giving you the words, but if you don't know what they mean, you won't be able to use them. Heavily, this one here, relates to something that obviously is going to be quite heavy. Or write a tone in. It could also be used figuratively. You know, sometimes people lift things and, use a heavy heart, that kind of thing. So heavily is talking about a lot of. It heavily impacted on the workload. So it's not talking about things that are physically heavy, it's talking about how much it's having an effect on somebody. Magically, obviously it's how something happens, so the pen magically disappeared. Merrily is happy. It's another word for happily, a synonym for happily. Physically, you should know what that means. That's when you are physically fit, you're physically doing something. Sleepily, as we've just talked about, you're sleeping. Sadly should be a fairly simple one you all know, and you definitely all know slowly. A good example of that would be something like a snail. Yes, that is a snail. Not bad, actually. Heroically, if you look at the root word heroic, that's to be like a hero. So heroically, so firefighters act heroically because they look to help and save people. A couple of words here. This one, IPC guys, you should know this one. Finally, happening at the end of something. So finally, it was time to go home. Happily, you should all definitely know what that means. Angrily, we've talked about. There's an angry face. This one is lots of you. Taha at home, this is you. Cheekily. You do something cheekily, so he stuck his tongue out at his little sister. Cheekily. Automatically, we did this spelling sound in school last week. So automatically is when something does something itself. The door's automatically opened. Hastily, we've talked about on the previous slide. Again, that is to do something very, very quickly. This is one of my favourite words. Frantically. Now, you can't see me now because my camera's off, but frantically is when you're doing something really, really quick or in a rush. So Mr. Spencer frantically tidied up his desk before Mr. Hughes came. So frantically, it's all about being in a rush. Dramatic, again, if you look at the root word, there's dramatic. Whoops, dramatic. And dramatically, for example, if you were doing a play or a poem, you might be dramatically saying your lines. So, for example, oh, I don't want to do my homework. This is speaking dramatically. Cosily, a nice word actually. If you sit on the sofa at home and you get your blanket and you're nice and warm, you're watching the television, maybe having a lovely cup of tea or something, you're sitting there snuggling cosily. Cosily. This will be a funny word to talk about at home. If anybody's got a brother or sister, sometimes they can be a bit bossy and tell you what to do. This word is bossily. So that is when somebody tells you to do something, but maybe they say it bossily. So, for example, Mr. Spencer bossily told the children, tidy up, telling you what to do. Breezily, I'll try and draw the wind, although that's very, very difficult. The wind, breezily, the leaves breezily flew in the wind. So it's talking about how they are flying. The last thing I'd like to talk to you about very quickly, and I suppose for some it's quite an important one to talk about, we use these adverbs, I'll write the word adverb here, in or around the verb. Now, when I say that, what I mean is when we use a verb, for example, if I smiled, we want to know how I smiled, which is what the adverb is. So I smiled, so I'll just put I here. I smiled happily. So again, I'm telling somebody how I do something. So with these words, what you've got to think of is, if frantically is in a rush, you would say, I rushed frantically. I packed my bag frantically. I happily got my lunchbox ready. I cheekily stuck my tongue out at my sister. Let's pick another one from here. If we change this one, angry, to angrily, I angrily shouted at my sister. So you can hear there that these adverbs come when we use a verb. So guys, hopefully today's lesson has helped you a little bit. Remember, this will be an upload one, so What you could do is just take a piece of paper like this, write the word frantic, and then draw the dots so it looks a little bit like this. So that's an upload one. But there are some other questions on your form. Good luck. If you need any help, give us a message. See you soon.